Hello, it's Mr. John again. We're going to read a book about Petoskey stones. This book is on getepic.com. If you would like the information, please let me know and I can send you the link over email or Facebook or another means. Um, what the area we're going to talk about is Lake Michigan. And so, just for reference, we're talking. So, here's Michigan. Jackson is in this area right here where the arrow is. Lake Michigan is all around here, and then the town of Petoskey is all the way up here. And we're going to be talking about a famous kind of stone that is named for the town of Petoskey. The book is called The Legend of the Petoskey Stone by Kathy Jo Wargan. If I am going too fast, parents and other adults can pause the video as they need so that everybody can take part and see what anything that they like and point it out. A father and his son were walking along the beach, searching for Petoskey stones. They looked through rocks that had washed up near the water's edge. They sifted through sand and pulled stones from the shallows of Lake Michigan. The father was watching the water roll toward shore when all of a sudden a wave splashed at his feet. It was then he spotted the wet gray stone. It was round and smooth and had a beautiful sunburst pattern upon it. As he plucked it from the sand, he asked his son, "Has anyone ever told you the story about the Petoskey stone?" Long ago, in 1787, an Odawa princess and her husband were leaving their winter home. He was a French fur trader who had been welcomed into her tribe as an honorary chief, and he had worked through the winter collecting furs in an area we now call Chicago. But when spring arrived, it was time for them to travel back to their summer hunting grounds along the shores of northern Lake Michigan. The family traveled day after day, but the journey was slow and hard because the princess was ready to give birth. One night, as they neared the mouth of the Kalamazoo River, she could not travel any further. The family made a shelter, and while the princess remained behind the deerskin door of the hut, her husband waited outside, listening to the night sounds and admiring the stars in the sky. The princess began to give birth to the baby as the chief waited nearby. Hours passed and the stars dimmed. The moon began to fade and the animals became quiet. But then, as it became almost silent, only moments before the sun was ready to rise, the joyous cry of a newborn child filled the woods and echoed over the water. The chief held the baby in his hands, feeling deep and instant love. At that moment, the sun rose, casting ribbons of beautiful light through the trees. As sunshine fell softly upon the baby's face, the father said, "He shall be Petoskey, and he shall be an important man." He named him Petoskey because the word meant the rays of the rising sun, or sunbeams of promise. He knew this was a good name because it meant there were always in the promise of a new day. As his father adored him, Petoskey was bathed in the most beautiful morning light, and it seemed as if the nearby lakes, rivers, and forests whispered his name in approval. Not long after, the family reached their village in the North Woods where the baby known as Petoskey grew into a young boy. He loved to play in the lake and could easily catch the biggest and best fish. Petoskey also liked to hunt for food. He would walk quietly through the woods, and always, when he found his game, he was thankful and useful with it. And when the snow arrived, Petoskey went in search of animals for their fur. Furs would keep his family warm or be traded for goods. He set traps and snares in the forest and grew better at the challenge every year. As Petoskey grew to manhood, he became such a skillful hunter that one year he killed 40 bears and sold their hides for a very good price. Over time, Petoskey became a fur trader like his father had been. He traveled by water to Indian villages collecting furs. He piled his birch bark canoe high with pelts and raised a sail made from an old blanket. As it gathered breeze and pushed him along, he sailed through an inland waterway to the east side of Michigan. From there, he pushed on to Mackinac Island, where he would trade them for goods. Petoskey loved his homeland along the shores of northern Michigan. It seemed as if all nature belonged to him, and that he had a special place along the bay. Eventually, Petoskey married and became a father. He was now a headman, which meant he was third in line in his tribe. This was a place of honor, one that he earned through his intelligence and fairness. Over the years, Petoskey was such a successful trader, hunter, and farmer that he was able to purchase land near a beautiful river that danced like a ribbon through the forest and flowed right into the big lake. It was known as the place where bears walked beside the flowing waters, and Petoskey liked it very much. Petoskey built a wooden home there at the edge of the lake, settling on the shore where the sand rippled in waves along among small gray stones. But things were beginning to change. A town was beginning to grow in the area near Petoskey's home. Pioneers came from the east to build homes deep in the woods. Farmers came to plow long stretches of grass into farms. Business people came to build lumber mills and stores. One man, Hiram O. Rose, came to set up a general store and other businesses. He quickly became friends with Petoskey and began to call him Chief Petoskey as a sign of respect. Because most people knew Petoskey and liked him very much, it wasn't long before the whole town began to call him Chief as a sign of admiration. But the growing area needed an official name, so one night several people gathered to choose just the right one. It didn't take long for everyone to agree that it should be named Petoskey after Chief Petoskey. True to the words his father spoke the moment he was born, Chief Petoskey was becoming an important man by lending his name to the town he loved. And in return, Petoskey was loved by all. It wasn't long before people from other places wanted to visit the town named after Petoskey. Some came by steamship, while others came by train. They came to enjoy the beautiful lake and breathe the fresh air. But they also came to walk along the shore and search for a special stone that appeared to hold the rays of the rising sun inside. Because the stones seemed to be found everywhere near Petoskey, they soon earned the name Petoskey stones. The father shifted the stone from one hand to the other, admiring the sunbursts made so long ago. When I find a Petoskey stone, he told his son, I know that I hold the spirit of Petoskey in my hand. I carry the promise of tomorrow, which means I will have one more day in the place I love best, with the person I love most. With that, the father placed the Petoskey stone into his son's hands and whispered, That place is here, and that person is you. The little boy held the stone as tight as he could, and looked at his father with love. And just then, as sunlight fell upon them, it seemed as if all the nearby lakes, rivers, and forests whispered Petoskey's name once again. Today, when people search for Petoskey stones, they hope to find the rays of the rising sun, and when they do, they carry sunbeams of promise, the face of Petoskey, who is showered with the rays of the rising sun from the moment he was born. Each stone is a reminder of the man who gave his name to the land he loved, and to the beloved stone that offers the promise of a shining new tomorrow for everyone. So that is the legend of the Petoskey stone. If you look on this part of the screen, this is what a Petoskey stone looks like after it has been polished. So you can see the little sunbursts all over. In fact, Petoskey stones are fossils. And then this is the town of Petoskey today. You can see the lake in the background. That is Lake Michigan. It is still a very popular place for people who both live in Michigan and outside of Michigan to visit. This is what it looks like in the winter. Now you can see that Lake Michigan is frozen over. Anyway, thank you for joining me for the book about the Petoskey stone. I hope you learned something. Please let me know if you would like the details for that book so that you can read it on your own at home, and I'll see you later.